Hello guys, in today's video this is what we're going to be creating today. We're going to be creating this cool brush slideshow effect, and this is actually part 4 out of the 5-part series of the slideshow that I've been making. I really hope you've been learning a lot. Don't forget, the project file is down in the description. Make sure you download it so you can tag along and have access to all the pictures and the video assets I've been using. And let's go. But before we go, I'm pretty sure you must have noticed the new look, right? Yes, I tint my hair, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and then maybe we'll have a little bit of fun with that. All right, now let's go. So the very first thing I'd like to know is I've already imported the images I'll be using, the pictures, the textures, and the brushes, and I'm going to be using also with the video assets that I'll be using for this tutorial. So make sure you check that in the project file. You'll see all of this there. I'm going to start by creating composition. And I'll make it image 01 just in case I want to create multiple images. I'll make this 30 frames per second. 10 seconds long is fine. Click OK. I've created my image, so I'm going to just drag in the image I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this image. I'm going to just drag it in here. I got this image from unsplash.com, so make sure you check the site out for you to get your free stock images. I'm going to press S for scale, and I'm going to scale it down a little bit. I'm just going to adjust this to where it fits. Then I'm going to change my resolution to full, and I'm going to create another composition. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to name this Animated Brush 01. I'm going to leave it the same as it is. Click OK. So I'm going to bring in my brush here, and I'm going to drag it here. You can see it's actually quite large, so I'm going to reduce the scale. So I'm going to reduce it to about, let's say, 37%. So we have something like this. If I toggle transparency grid, you can see that it's just the transparent black brush effect that we have here. Then I am also going to bring in a video asset, which is going to be my brush 2. So I'm going to drag it here. And if I play this, can you see it's actually quite large? Let me zoom out a little bit. It's actually quite large, so I need to fit in. So I can either press S and scale it down, or I can just use the shortcut Ctrl Alt F. Ctrl Alt F will fit to screen. So if I click on fit here, if I just scroll this, can you see we have this brush effect thing going on here? So I'll first of all increase this to about 55% just to make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to take my brush image here, and I'm going to do alpha luma. Remember, alpha luma makes use of the bright values. Whatever we have bright value, which is white, it's going to reveal there. So I'm going to do that, and by so doing you have this, and this is actually looking interesting already. So if I play this is what I have. So the next thing I like to do is to create another composition and call this reveal 01. I'll click OK. Now I'll bring in my image 01, and I'll bring in my animated brush and put it here above. If I take my time indicator, if I scroll over it, can you see what it's doing? It's actually brushing on it. So what I want to do is I want this image to be appearing within this brush. So I'll click on this, click on the track matte, and do alpha matte. As soon as I do, we have this effects thing going on here, which is really looking cool. So I think I can take this, then maybe increase the scale a little bit, then maybe drag it down. I think this is looking cool. So I have something like this. That is set. Let me just quickly arrange my comp in my panel composition. Okay, I'm done. What I would like to do is to create another composition now. Click this, and I'm going to name this final. Let me use caps, final scene. And I'm going to click OK. Now in the final scene, I'm going to bring in my paper texture. Just bring it down here. I'm going to scale it a little bit. I notice that my paper has these lines, so I wouldn't want it to be vertical, so I'm going to just flip it. What I would do, I would like to just rotate it. I'll press R for rotation, then just put 90 degrees here, and I have this. What I will just do, I'll press S for scale and just scale it. I have this. Now I'm going to bring in my reveal 01 and drop here. So if I go and click on fit to screen, so I have this simple cool animation thing going on here, which is really nice. But then I would like to make all of this 3D, so I'm just going to click on this and this and make it 3D. Click on toggle switches and mode, then activate the 3D, close this up, and now I need to come here, come from one view, change to 2 views. Now that I'm here, so I'm going to focus so much on the top part. What I would like to do, I'll click on this review. I'm going to duplicate it 4 times. So I'm going to do Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D. So I have 4 times of this. Now I'm going to start arranging them. Take the paper texture that I have and I would like to move it back in this space. So I'm going to move it back. You can see that we're beginning to see the transparency here. That's because it's getting smaller. But another way I can do this is to come here, press P to check the value. So I want to make this about, let's say, 3000 pixels away. So if I zoom out, you can see where the image is here, right? You can see where my paper texture is showing here. All right, so I think this is fine, but then I need to make sure I adjust it right here. So I can increase the scale like this, just stretching it out like this. Maybe this is enough, and then I'll just press S and then increase the scale proportionally. So everything will fit to screen. Yeah, that's all for our image background, which is our paper texture. So I'm going to take reveal 2 and I'm just going to make sure it's right above the background. So I'm going to take this, let me zoom in, and then I'm just going to drag this back, or probably I'll just press P here and then make sure this is about, let's say, 3060, so that it will just be right before. So it will just be right before the background. In short, I will still want it to go a little bit more. So let me just get it close so it to be above. So what I'll do, let me solo this and solo the background so I'll see what I'm doing here. So if I keep pushing it, right? If I keep pushing it, to see it's already behind, we won't see it, but then I can move this forward until I see it, and which is what I'm really gunning for. But then I'm going to increase the scale of this to, let's say, 430. So let me zoom out. Right, you can see it's actually quite big. What I need to do is, let me just adjust it a little bit so I can see the head some more. Right, something like this. Maybe I should just scale it down a little bit actually, so I can really see some of the details of his head. So I think this is good, but then I'm still going to add some effects to this to make it really look cool. But we are going to leave this for now. Let's keep going. Let's keep arranging the reviews. So I'm going to activate the next review here. So I'm going to zoom out, select this, and I'm going to push this further. I'm going to push this very close to the background too as well. I'm going to push it, maybe here is fine, maybe something like this is good. And don't worry, we are still going to come back and apply some effect and get some really cool results. I'm going to activate the next one, or maybe before I activate the next one, let me see if I need to adjust the scale. So let me zoom in, let me press S for scale, then I can just increase this just a little bit. I think I'm pretty satisfied with this. Activate the next one now, which is the third one. If I press P for this, I can move this down to about, let's say, 2000 pixels away. So let me just do 2055. So you can see from the top, yeah, there's a couple of distance between what we have behind and where this is right now, but then I still need to adjust the scale. Let me press S, or maybe I should just deactivate all of this for now and focus on what we are on, and press S for scale, and I'm just going to increase this one to a little bit. Okay, I think this is fine, and then I'm going to uncheck this and then I'll activate the last one. So for this particular one, I can just select this, then go to my top view here and then just move it back. So let me do about 1000 pixels away. So if I zoom out and let me select this, so this is where this is located here. Then of course I need to adjust the scale, so I need to make this bigger. So I press S for scale and then make it bigger. Let's talk about this size. Then I would like to take this and duplicate it one more time. Okay, and this time around I will just most likely just bring this down to about, let's say, 160. So I will be closer to the camera, and I'll click this, press S for scale, then increase this. I want this to be large. Let's say to about this size. Okay, I'll uncheck all of this and then I'll start applying effects to all of this one at a time. So I'll click on this, solo this up. So let me change back to one view so I can see what I'm doing here. So I'll select this. I'm going to apply an effect. So I'll bring up my FX cursor from Video Copilot and I'll type tint and I'll click this. Now it's now black and white, but then I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to paste the color value that I have here, like a gray yellow color. Click OK, and I'll click this and I'll also paste this more like a blue tint, and I'll click OK. And that's all I have for this. Now that I've done this, I'll need to change the blend mode for this particular one. So I'm going to click on toggle switches and mode, and I'm going to click on normal, change this to overlay. as soon as I do that, can you see what we have? We have this really blended color thing going on here. So I'll move to the second one and I'll activate this. And for this particular one, I'm also going to apply tint to it. So I'm going to change the tint color. So I'll click on the black side and paste this value. I'm going to choose this color. In addition to that, I'm going to come here and add an effect called cartoon, and I'm going to click and add, but then I want the cartoon to be above the tint. So let me just solo this so that will not distract us. Let's zoom in to see the kind of details you'll be getting by the time we are tweaking the setting. So first of all, the renderer should be edges. So that will first of all change this to this, and then I'll change the details to, let's say 10. I'll increase the softness to about 80. You can see that we're getting some really cool details with this. That's it. And then I will come to the layer side here and change this to multiply, and then we have something cool like this. So if I activate the one behind it, we have something going on like this. So I'll go to the next one, which is reveal 01. For this next one, what I like to do is to make this a little bit different. So I'm going to right click on reveal source project, and I'm going to click this and I'm going to duplicate it. So I have reveal 2. I'll come here. So let me solo all of this, select this, and then I'll swap this for this. So I have reveal 2. I will now open this up. What I'll do is to select this, press S for scale, and then just invert it. Invert the animated brush, and as soon as I do that, it will change the direction. Instead of starting from right, it's going to start sliding from left. So we are just trying to make things more dynamic. So if I press tab and go back, can you see it's going to definitely reflect here? So what I would need to do now is to apply some effects to this. So I would also apply tint as well and use almost the same color as the rest of it. We have something like this, and then I'll uncheck this and solo this. So for this one, I am going to apply an effect called Venetian blinds. I'm going to change the transition completion to 40%. Okay, and I'm going to change the direction to about, let's say 34 degrees, and I'm going to change the width to 10 so it becomes smaller. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. And one other thing I would like to do is to change the blend mode of this to overlay. Now we now have something really cool like this. Okay, so we'll move on from here now. We'll go to the last one, and for this one I am going to right click. So let me uncheck this. I'm going to select this and I'm going to right click, go to reveal source project, making sure I can always locate it here, and I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to call this final review. Okay, so I have named this now, so all I need to do is to just replace. So I'll click this, hold down Alt as you click and drag and replace, then I'll double click this, go into this, the animated brush. I'll right click, reveal in source project, and I'll click on this and I would duplicate, and I'm going to rename this animated brush final, and I'm going to click this and replace this with this. Make sure you always duplicate in your project panel, not in your layers, for you to totally replace some of your elements. So I'll go into my animated brush final, open that up and see what I can tweak here. So I'll select the brush and I'll press S for scale, and then I'll make this quite big. Okay, now that I'm looking at this, I think I might need to change the brush because I can still see some of the details. So what I will do, I'll come to my video asset and change this. Let me double click this and see how this works. This one has a little bit of those transparency thing going here. What I need to do, let me go back to my composition, select this and then Alt replace. We can see that we have more details here. I can reposition in a way that to make it make sense. All right, so let me work with this. Let me press S for this and maybe increase this one a little bit. I think I'm good with this. Now if I play this, can you see that this brush is different and it's giving it a totally different feel? You can see that this stops at 3 seconds. So all I need to do is right click, go to time, then do freeze on last frame, and that will just extend the whole layer. I'm done with my animated brush final, so I'll just go back. I'll just go back here and then come back here. If I just scroll this back and play, can you see that the brush effect here is different? Don't worry, I have all of this in the project file, so you can have access to all these assets that I'm using. By now, I'll just want to start rearranging my layers. So if I uncheck this and uncheck this, of course, if I play everything all at once, it will make so much sense. So I'll just highlight everything, press U to close everything up. And then this is where I will introduce my camera. Go to new camera, and I'll make sure I'm using 35mm and click OK. And of course, I'm going to create a null for my camera, and I'm going to name this cam con. I'll click this, then I'll parent this to this. I'll toggle switches and mode. I'll click 3D for the null. So I'll click on my con and press P for this, and I will just, let's see, drag this back a little bit to where I can really see this. So maybe just something like this would do. Well, then I can see this transparency grid here. So all I need to do is select my background, press S, and just scale it up until it fills the whole background. I'll go to 5 seconds here, and I'll set this position here, then drag this back, and I'm going to just zoom in a lot here. I'm just going to zoom in a lot. So I'll do about, let's say, 3090 pixel in. So if I go to 2 views, my null, which is controlling the camera, has moved it in. So can you see, even from here, you can see how it's revealing. So the camera starts from way in here and then starts zooming out. So what I'll do is highlight all of this. Of course, do easy ease. Then go to my graph editor, then do something like this. Okay, let me just switch to one view for this. So if I play this now, this is what we have, right? It looks cool, but then I think we can make it better than this. All we need to do is to rearrange the layers. That's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to take this. So I'll zoom in and I just do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll take the reveal to about 1 second mark, and then take the reveal 1 to, let's say, about 5 frames later. Then the final review to about here. So if I take this back and then play, I think it's making more sense now. So let me just stop the animation and then see this. So as I'm looking at this, I would like to also add one more thing to make this really dynamic, to make this last frame really stand out. So I'll bring in brush 2 and bring in underneath the review. I'll just adjust this to be right underneath. And because if I solo this, because it's plain black and white, I need to change the blend mode to screen. So I will just have the white values. I'll have the bright values of the layer. So when I solo this, can you see that I'm not more seeing the dark or the black part of the layer? And of course, I need to make it 3D. So, and I need to make sure it's right behind the last frame. If I adjust this, can you see this too? I can just adjust it to be behind the last frame. Adjust it some more, then increase the scale a little bit. Yeah, maybe something like this would do. Let me take this back now. So let me change and switch to one view. Let me just take this back now. So let me fit screen. Let me take this back and play again. So I think I can take this too and then just drag it back a little bit. So I have something much more dynamic. Maybe stagger this to a little bit like this. So let's play again. Maybe white might be too strong. I can just reduce the opacity a little bit. Maybe something like this would do. So this is where you just need to start tweaking, doing some kind of tweaking, basically. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with this. So I'll go to my camera. I want to add some additional movement because when it gets to this point, it just stops. So I want you to keep moving. So I'll open this up, go to my camera options. Then I would like to animate the zoom. So I'll just click on the zoom here, press U. So I won't have to see all those details. Or maybe I'll just drag this to somewhere here. And then I'll take this back to about 10-second mark. And then I'll zoom out. I want you to continue to zoom out a little bit more. You can see that I'm beginning to lose some details here. So all I need to do, take my background, my paper texture background, and increase it so that it fills the whole screen. So if I click on my zoom, maybe we can have something like this. I need to do some color correction and achieve the kind of feel that we want. So the very first thing is to do, I'll go to new, create a solid. I'll just change the color for something like this. Doesn't matter what you make it. So I'll name this gradient overlay. So I'll click OK. I'll select the solid and I'll add gradient ramp. So I'll click this and I'll change the color to this color that I prepared. So like this purple. Then I'll click this and I'll change this color to this yellow, right? So what I'll do is select these toggle switches and modes, then change the blend mode to soft light. Then we have this cool thing going on here, and I'll just click this, press T for opacity and reduce it to about, let's say 40%. So this is without the gradient, this is with the gradient. That's the first thing we're going to add. Then I'm going to right click, go to new, create adjustment layer, click this. I'm going to name this CC. So I'm click this, then add my curves. This for some it's levels. For me, I'm a curves person, so I'll just increase the brightness a little bit here. Maybe just make sure I drop this mid-tones close to the shadows just a little bit here, so we can have a little bit of some contrast. Then I'll go to the blue channel here and just bump this up a little, right? I think this will do. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'll right click again, new, another adjustment layer. I'll name this noise. Then I'll apply noise to this. Then I'll uncheck use color noise. Then I'll increase this to about 6% just to give it some grungy and noisy feel. Then I'll of course go to new adjustment layer. Now this time I'll apply tints. Let me name this to tint. So I'll almost use the similar color that I use for the gradient. Map to black, I'll change it to this color which always goes with the shadows or the dark value of the image. I'll click OK. Then the right side, I'm going to use this color. So I can come here and reduce the opacity, or another option is to come here and reduce the tint. So I'll reduce this to about, let's say 10%. Then the last one I'll create new adjustment layer. I'm going to name this vignette, and I'm going to click this and I'm going to apply CC vignette to this, and it's going to make the center brighter and the other part a little bit darker, so that I can have more like a spotlight on the object at the center. So I'll just change this to about 67%, then increase the pin light to 100%. This is without the vignette, this is with the vignette. It's a very subtle detail. Then aside from that, I like to bring in this video asset. So I double click this, it is this grungy thing going on here. So all I will do is I'll just drag and put it below my gradient overlay. So let's see what we have from here. And of course I'll reduce scale because it's quite large. Let me go back to fit to screen. So all I'll do is I'll change this to multiply, so I can have those nice detail thing going on with it. Let me solo this so that you can see. All right, can you see those tiny black details going on there? And I'll reduce the opacity to about 60%. And if you notice that it stops at 3-second mark, so what I will do is simple. I'll right click, go to time, then go to enable time remapping, and then go to the last frame, or even a frame before the last frame, like this. Check this, then delete the last part, and then all I need to do is to apply a simple expression to this. I'll click this, then I'll put in loop out, and I'll click out, and then I'll just drag this down. So with this, it will just keep looping the whole animation. I'm going to take this back, and then I'm going to play what I've done from the beginning. I'm going to highlight everything. So if you play this is what we have, and we are good with our animation. And the way we've done is actually quite procedural. So I can go to my image 01, open it up, and then change the image to something like this. So let me uncheck this and just scale this down. Maybe something like this would do. So you can change to something like this, and then everything will change accordingly. So if I play this now, I'm glad you make it to the end of this video, and I'm pretty sure you've learned a lot. Just in case you use any of this slideshow tutorial at all in your work or in your project, personal project or client project, kindly tag me on Instagram at nas.k_works, and that's my Instagram handle, or you can just send me the link directly to the comment section or something. I'll be glad to check it out. So we have one more to go out of this series. and I'm pretty sure the last one is going to be really good. So make sure you stay tuned for the next video. All right, take care. Peace.